guys, in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to go from this to this. And to do that I'm going to use a Sigma E65 brow brush, a spoolie, NYX brow powder in dark brown, Inglot brow powder in number 569, and Anastasia Brow Gel. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is brush through my halfway bald brows with a spoolie, just to get the hair going in the right direction. So I'm going to start filling in my brow from the bottom, but each person's brow is going to be different. You really just want to take a look at your brow and see where you're lacking actual hair and start filling in there. I always say go natural because you don't want to look like you have caterpillars on your face. My brows are actually this sparse because when I was really young I decided to tweeze my brows on my own and I way over tweezed. So the bulk of where I fill in is underneath, and I use small little short strokes, and that gives me the most natural look. So what I'm using right now is the NYX brow powder in dark brown, and I'm using the darkest brown out of the duo, and I always use that to define the bottom half of my brow and pretty much the tail and bulk of it. And then I go in with that lighter Inglot shade to define the front. So as you guys can see, my brows are pretty much non-existent, so I do spend a lot of time filling in, and that can take a little while. So I'm actually going to speed up this clip, and then we'll come back when it's time to fill in the front of the brow, and then I'll tell you what I actually do for that. Okay, so just kidding, we're not actually at the front of the brow yet, but I thought I would talk a little bit about how I shape the top of my brow and actually how I kind of shape the tail. I tried to follow my lash line as to where I'm going to end the tail, and that seems to work okay for me, but on a day-to-day basis, honestly, I kind of switch it up, so you never really know. Sometimes I might have it a little higher or a little straighter, a little more arched, and that is the beauty of makeup. We can pretty much look how we want to look on a day-to-day basis. But for the top of my brow, I really don't put a whole lot of product up there. I kind of try and use what is on the brush already, so it's not super harsh, and I just try and shape out the top as well as I can and give it somewhat of a little bit of an arch and just kind of feather that product around. One thing that is super helpful for me is checking my brows. So as I'm doing them, I'm going back and forth between brows and adding product and checking them and making sure they're even. And if you went and filled in one brow entirely without doing this, sometimes it's kind of hard to get them to be even, but if you're working in little sections, it's much easier to get them even and looking like, at least like their sisters. Obviously they're never going to be twins, but we want them to at least look related. Now for the front of the brows, which can really be a make it or break it area for brows, because if you go too harsh, you can look like you have Sharpie brows and nobody wants that. So really what I do to avoid that Sharpie brow look is I go in with a lighter brow powder and I use upward strokes. As you'll see here, I have flipped my brush to the side so it gives me the wider portion of the brush, and I just kind of flick upwards with a little bit of product. I don't put too much because you can always add more, but it's much harder to take it away. So for the front of the brow, I do the same thing I did for the tail. I just keep going back and forth until it's as even as possible. And you'll find once you get a brow routine down that you really like, it's going to completely change your makeup look, and you're never going to want to go back to not doing anything to your brows. For me, it's not so much an option because I don't have brows, and any of you people out there who don't have brows, I'm sure you feel my pain. Okay, so I promise we're almost done. I'm just going to brush through my brows one more time, and then I'm going to throw on some brow gel, and that is pretty much it. Alright guys, that is it for this brow tutorial. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I hope this was helpful. If it was, just let me know in the comment section, and I will see you guys soon.